Did you know that roughly 800,000 people apply for a new driver's license in California every single year? It's a huge rite of passage. Earning your learner's permit is that absolutely critical first step toward driving legally and safely in the Golden State. So, welcome to this explainer. We're going to navigate the California DMV together to help you secure that permit. Whether you're a teenager eager to finally get behind the wheel or an adult starting your driving journey from scratch, this explainer gives you the exact step-by-step roadmap you need to succeed.
Okay, let's dive right in. 15 and a half. That's the exact minimum age you can kickstart your driving journey in California, and it's our starting line for today. Now, if you're under 18, you fall into the state's provisional licensing system. That just means there are specific guardrails in place to keep everybody safe. But hey, don't worry, the process is incredibly structured, and as long as you follow the steps we're about to cover, you'll be well on your way.
Section 1. The Road to Driving. Your journey begins.
Section 2. Eligibility and documents. Preparing your vehicle.
All right, so here the path actually splits depending on your age. If you're between 15 and a half and 17 and a half, California requires you to complete a 30-hour driver's education course before you can even apply. It covers all the basics: traffic laws, defensive driving, safe driving practices, the whole shebang. You can knock this out in a classroom or online, and once you're finished, you'll get a certificate of completion. Now, if you're 18 or older, you get to skip straight to the application, though honestly, reading the handbook is still highly recommended so you actually know what a stop sign means.
Now here's where we see our very first major common mistake: showing up to the DMV empty-handed. Regardless of your age, everyone has to prove who they are. You'll need to bring primary identity documents. Think a valid U.S. passport, a certified birth certificate, or a permanent resident card. You also need a verifiable social security number, so make sure to bring that physical card or a W-2 form. And finally, you need proof that you actually live in California. A utility bill or a bank statement with your physical address on it works perfectly.
So, the really crucial point here is deciding between getting a standard ID or a real ID. If you just want a standard permit, you only need one proof of residency. But if you're opting for a real ID, which, by the way, functions as federal identification for things like boarding domestic flights, you're going to need to bring a document proving lawful presence in the U.S. plus 2 different proofs of residency instead of just one. It's a little bit more paperwork up front for sure, but it absolutely saves you a headache later on.
Section 3. The Application Process. Plotting the Route.
Okay, I've got a major pro tip for you to avoid another super common mistake. Whatever you do, don't just walk into the DMV if you can help it. To avoid those agonizingly long waits, do yourself a favor and schedule an appointment online. Next, you'll complete your DL-44 application. If you're a minor, listen up, this form absolutely requires your parents' or guardian's signatures. Forgetting that signature is a classic rookie mistake that'll get you sent right back home. Finally, you'll pay a non-refundable application fee. It's usually around $33 to $45 depending on the license type, and that actually covers your testing attempts for a full 12 months.
Once you actually reach the front of the line, the real administrative work begins. During your appointment, the DMV technician is going to collect your thumbprint and snap your brand new ID photo. After that, you'll take a quick vision exam, and then they'll set you up at a computer or touchscreen station to take the written knowledge test.
Section 4. Prep and Test Day. Passing the checkpoints.
Look, test day nerves can run high. We've all been there. But the very first checkpoint is purely physical, your vision. You've got to meet the 20/40 vision standard with both eyes combined to pass the screening. You'll just read from a standard Snellen eye chart. If you rely on glasses or contacts to see clearly, absolutely bring them and wear them. If you happen to miss this initial screening, the DMV will require you to visit an eye doctor and submit a report of vision examination form before you can move forward.
With your vision cleared, it's time for the mental checkpoint, the written exam. And the written knowledge test actually varies based on how old you are. If you're under 18, you're facing a 46-question test, and you must get at least 38 correct. That means you can miss up to 8 questions. If you're an adult, your test is 36 questions, and you can only miss up to 5. Both require roughly an 83% passing score, and these questions cover everything from right-of-way rules to DUI laws and identifying road signs.
Now, a super common mistake here is rushing the retest. If you fail, seriously, don't panic, but you do need to know the rules. Minors have to wait 7 full days to study up and try again. Adults have it a little easier and can return the next business day. But beware, you only get a maximum of 3 attempts per application. If you fail 3 times, your application becomes invalid and you have to start the paperwork and pay the fee all over again. So please, take those practice tests seriously.
Section 5.
After the test. Hitting the open road.
Once you pass the vision and written exams, congratulations, you're going to receive your instruction permit, which is valid for 12 months. But hold on a second, it comes with some very strict guardrails. You cannot legally drive alone, period. A licensed adult who is at least 25 years old must be in the passenger seat close enough to take control of the vehicle at all times. You can't transport other friends unless that qualified adult supervisor is present. And under no circumstances can you use a cell phone while driving, not even hands-free.
To graduate to a full license, minors actually have a pretty big homework assignment. You have to complete 50 hours of supervised driving practice. And crucially, at least 10 of those 50 hours must be specifically logged at night. So prepare for some evening drives with a very nervous parent riding shotgun. You also need to complete 6 hours of professional behind-the-wheel instruction with a licensed driving school. Once that's all finished, a parent or guardian has to formally sign off on your permit.
Furthermore, teenagers are required to hold their permit for a minimum of 6 months before they can even schedule a behind-the-wheel driving test. This mandatory holding period is super important. It ensures you gain adequate, real-world experience across all sorts of different driving conditions and seasons, rather than just rushing through the process.
Section 6. Conclusion and next steps. The final destination.
Ultimately, this entire graduated system has one specific goal. As you practice behind the wheel, remember that this supervised phase is designed specifically to build your confidence, develop your defensive driving skills, and keep California's roads safe for absolutely everyone.
So, with your documents organized, your driver's ed certificate in hand, and your study plan set with the California Driver Handbook, the only question left is, when will you officially begin your driving journey? Make that appointment, take your time, and honestly, just enjoy the process of learning to drive. Just make sure to double-check a few final details before you go.
Finally, please note that while the information in this explainer is accurate as of its release date, procedures and fees can definitely change, so always verify the latest details directly with the official California DMV. As you prepare to turn the key in the ignition for the very first time, ask yourself, are you just studying to pass a test, or are you ready to master the responsibility of the open road?